The butterfly pole is a critical aspect of creating speed in butterfly. However, it's not the simplest skill to improve. There are multiple challenges that exist, and we have to be creative in order to find a solution that allows swimmers to get the necessary practice, the necessary volume in order to improve the skill, and do so in a way that's specific enough to actually improve what they want to improve, which is butterfly swimming. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. In this video, we're going to take a look at what needs to happen to improve upper body propulsion in butterfly, as well as a strategy that I find particularly effective in order to make that happen. Let's check it out. The butterfly pole is the most powerful movement in swimming. It creates a ton of speed, it creates a ton of propulsion, and without a good one, swimmers are really going to struggle in order to create speed in butterfly. Having a great pole requires a lot of skill and it requires a lot of fitness. Swimmers have to be able to effectively get in the right positions and execute the right motions in the right way in order to create a lot of propulsion. But they need the necessary fitness in order to make that happen. They need the strength and the power to execute a great pull once, and they need the fitness to execute a great pull over and over and over again for extended periods of time. So developing a great pull isn't so much just about skill, and it's also not just about fitness. Swimmers need both. When it comes to developing a powerful butterfly pull, simply swimming a lot of butterfly and certainly using resistance training options is a great way to do so. However, if you want to help swimmers develop a sustainable pull, options are a little bit more difficult to come by. To improve any skill requires practice, and practice is going to develop fitness and it's going to develop skills. It's the volume of work that helps swimmers learn, and it's the volume of work that helps swimmers adapt to physical stress and get stronger and get fitter. When it comes to sustainability, one of the most obvious options is butterfly pulling. It's certainly going to put more stress on the upper body. The problem is most swimmers can't do it very well. They can't sustain it long enough in order to develop the necessary endurance qualities, or they can't control the intensity, and so they get too tired too fast because it gets too hard too fast. Another potentially effective option is freestyle swimming and freestyle pulling. The overall general pattern of the pull is pretty similar to butterfly. However, the arm recoveries are pretty different in that the arms are bent when they recover with most swimmers, and they're very patient as opposed to very ballistic as they are in butterfly. Secondly, the setup of the stroke in freestyle, particularly during endurance training, tends to be really patient in freestyle, which is very different from butterfly. And so while freestyle swimming is definitely more sustainable, definitely more controllable than butterfly pulling, it's also not nearly as specific. So we have a situation where one option is pretty specific to regular butterfly, however it can't be performed, or many swimmers struggle to perform it at an intensity that's appropriate for endurance training, or we have a strategy that's appropriate for endurance training, but it's not as specific as it otherwise could be. So when it comes to developing a sustainable butterfly pull, these are the imperfect options that we typically see. One strategy I really like that's more specific than regular freestyle swimming and it's more sustainable than butterfly pulling is straight arm freestyle pull. And so by straight arm, I'm referring to the recovery over the water. And so the reason I like it is that it's more specific. The straight arm recovery is more specific to butterfly. The setup of the stroke is a lot more immediate as it is in butterfly. It's not a patient out. It's more of an over the top and then get on it right away setup, which is a lot more similar to regular butterfly. And there's also kind of a continuous motion of the arms. There's not that patient ride or glide out in front. It's more about getting on top of the water, getting into the stroke right away. So by using straight arm freestyle pull with the intention of improving the butterfly pull, we can get a little bit more specificity, which can lead to better and more sustainable butterfly pulling. There's also more trainability with this approach. Swimmers can control their intensity, they can sustain longer distances, and that allows them to develop the endurance that we're looking for in the butterfly pull as opposed to the speed and power, which we can get with other strategies. It's easier to control the intensity, which means it's easier to control the sustainability. And you can execute this over longer distances with longer sets. And by doing so, we can develop the necessary endurance qualities. So with one small tweak, we can get more specificity and more sustainability, which is going to help swimmers improve. So if you watch this swimmer here, you can see those straight arms are recovering, the hands are moving a little bit more continuous, and he's not riding it out nearly as much as he might otherwise in regular freestyle. And so he's going to have to be more effective with each pull. He's going to have that challenge of the straighter arm recovery, and that's going to help him accumulate the necessary volume to get a little bit more specific work done at the appropriate intensity. So while straight arm freestyle pull can be effective in and of itself, I like to make it more effective, in particular by mixing it in with regular butterfly. So we obviously get more specificity because we're swimming some fly, and we can put the butterfly under pressure. So if we have them do some straight arm pulling, then their arms are going to be more tired, they're going to be a little bit more fatigued, and then we can do some butterfly swimming. It doesn't have to be much, just a small amount, so that they can practice executing that pull with a little bit of fatigue, and then they can go back to some more controlled swimming. We're putting the skills under pressure, and that's great from a physical standpoint and a technical standpoint. We can also add stroke counts to the straight arm work, which allows them to focus a little bit more on efficiency and being consistent. They're accountable to that consistency by maintaining the stroke count throughout the entire repetition, whatever it is. Of course, with this one, you don't want to drop the stroke counts too low because we don't want swimmers riding it out in the front. We want them pretty on it from the beginning. And again, that's going to encourage them to set up the stroke pretty quickly like they need to do in butterfly. You can also have them do it with different hand postures, so different paddle variations, wearing paddles, holding paddles upside down, pinching paddles, or different closed fist variations like closed fist, OK sign, horns, and that's all going to help them learn how to interact with the water better as well. So we have two sets here using those strategies. So the first one, they're going to go 300 straight arm freestyle with a buoy. They're going to try to negative split at the same stroke count, and then they're going to go 425s butterfly, solid effort, be consistent with the stroke count. We're going to repeat that 3 more times. Every time we do that, we're going to add repetitions and drop the repetition distances on the straight arm work. So it's 2 150s, descend 1 to 2 at the same stroke count. They have to add up to faster than the 300. Then 3 1s, done the same way. They have to add up faster than the 150s. And then 650s, where they have to add up faster than the 100s. They're always descending at the same stroke count. And on the 25s, they're always being really consistent with the stroke count. So we're really encouraging swimmers to make sure that they're getting the same amount out of each pull, and they got to create more speed as they go. So that encourages them to be even more effective with each pull. Next set, they're going to go 3 rounds through, 475 straight arm freestyle with a buoy. They're going to descend 1 to 4 to strong, and there's no stroke count there. They're just going to put in some solid effort. Then they're going 250s butterfly, 30 seconds rest, same stroke count each lap. They're going to go strong on those. They're going to repeat that 2 more times. The 75s are going to descend down to faster, and we're going to drop the 50s by 10 seconds each round. They're going to try to hold their speed and hold the stroke count. So this set has a little bit more intensity to it. What we're trying to do is get the upper body tired and then have them go into some butterfly swimming. And in that butterfly swimming, they have to be really consistent with their stroke count. So they have to make sure that they maintain a really effective pull as they go. And they're doing that on the back of that pulling work. So the upper body's already going to be a little bit tired. So they have to be really good at executing and consistently executing their skills under pressure. If you want to learn more about how to develop a really powerful butterfly pull, check out the video below.